It's my honor to be here as the Master of Ceremony at this important event, which marks the transition of our guests of honor from students to alumni. And it is an unusual year that we find us all here together, spread apart as you are. We thank you for making it here, and we also want to thank all those that are here remotely. So even though we only see a few people around you, although many more than you've probably seen in one place for the last 6 months, we have many more joining us online. Together with our family and our special guests, we're going to do our best to make this day very memorable. My name is Oliver Olsen. I'm a faculty member in Marketing and Strategy at Maastricht School of Management. I've had the pleasure to spend time with almost all the students that are graduating here today, and I'm extremely proud to participate in honoring their efforts at today's event. But first, we need to get some housekeeping out of the way so that we can all ensure a nice but safe ceremony for everyone. And so our everyday life has become just like when we used to fly in the airplanes, except now the instruction list is a little bit longer. So we do need to honor a couple things, both in line with the Dutch Health Authority, as well as MSM guidelines, as well as MEC, and thank you to MEC for hosting this event today. So I do want to remind you of some rules. Some of them we've gotten used to over the last 6 months, and some of them will be good practices to take with us going forward. The first one, continue to keep 1.5 meter distance. Wash your hands often. MEC has given us a nice challenge. You see all around the building these red apparatuses. Challenge yourself to use one every time you walk by. Those are hand sanitizers. It's a good habit to get into. If you have to cough or sneeze, please do so in your elbow. Do not shake hands as you've gotten used to, but especially difficult on a day like today. Please do your best to not give hugs. I know, it's a tough one on a wonderful day like this. Use paper tissues as often as possible. You'll find some stacks of them. You can keep a couple in your pocket. And most importantly, be kind to others. MEC has this as a COVID recommendation, but I think that's a good everyday recommendation going forward. And follow staff directions, both MEC staff as well as MSM staff. But I think more importantly, be adults. Be smart. Like our graduates. We're lucky to live in a country of the Netherlands that treats us like adults, that says, here's the things to do and not to do. Please do them. And then trust us to follow the guidelines. So we likewise will trust you to follow the guidelines today. For those who would like to wear face masks, while you're seated in place, it's not necessary as long as you maintain your 1.5 meter distance. But I still encourage you to wear it because they're just so good looking with our MsM Graduation 2020. So if you don't have one yet, find a staff member, somebody in the hallways, and take one with you, and use it after today too. It's great to advertise and support your graduate or alumni friend. As you've noticed, currently you're seated 1.5 meters from each other. Please make sure to remain seated during the whole ceremony and maintain this distance. Now regarding your phones, we invite you to not turn off your phones. Instead, please put them on silent and use them throughout the ceremony. Use them a lot, as long as you don't disturb others around you. Please make sure that anything you do on your phone, though, gives credit to what we're doing here. So if you post, use your favorite platform. Use Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, WeChat, YouTube, MySpace, QQ, Qzone, BBM, Messenger, Reddit, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Line, Telegram, Medium, Skype, Discord, all my parents, AOL. Missed anything else? Use them all, but just make sure wherever you do it, use hashtag, as you've seen around, hashtag MsM Graduation 20, not 2020, just the 20. MsM Graduation 20 hashtag, and also give credit, tag us at Maastricht School of Management. Now, other housekeeping. We do have professional photographers here, and really good photographers that are taking pictures of everything, outside the event, around the event, during the event. So you don't have to take pictures. You can trust us to take good pictures for you, and they will be available. We're also making videos. This is streaming online, plus we're taping this and having videos available to you. So anyone that's present or not here can watch and also relive or watch the special moments afterwards. Now, you can relax and let somebody else do the work of videotaping and taking photographs. Now, in case of emergency, although this is a big room and you do see lots of lights and lots of windows, there are some specific exit points I want you to be aware of. There's 3 primary exits in the room here. There's 2 on each side of the stage here. I really do feel like a flight attendant now. Over on that side where you see the green exit signs, and the primary entrance in the back of the hall. This is not necessarily the best exit because there's construction going on. And this looks like an exit, but that's the restaurants. So if it's a beer emergency, then that is the way to go. If it's a general emergency, then please one of the other exits. So at the end of today's ceremony, we will continue the celebration in person, although at a 1.5 meter distance. You're invited to join us at the reception, which will last until about 1800 hours, 6 o'clock. And it'll be here next door in the MEC at Table and MEC Cafe. Again, remembering to keep the distance of 1.5 meters. In the spirit with 1.5 meters, I know that you want to take pictures afterwards. You want to celebrate. I've already forbidden hugs. How much meaner can I be? Well, be careful when taking pictures with each other. You need to maintain that 1.5 meter distance, but there are some creative ways you can do, either staggering yourselves or being in front of each other so it looks like you're next to each other. Be creative and still maintain the distance regulations. Once you're away from us, you can do what you want, but here, please follow our guidelines. For those people who park their car at MEC, you will need a ticket to get out, and again, you can find those tickets from anybody that has one of these MSM name tags. They'll either have a ticket or they can point you to somebody else that will have a ticket so you can leave the parking lot today. And finally, at the end of the ceremony, please, we will leave in an orderly fashion, much as the start of the ceremony, where the students and soon-to-be graduates enter last. At the end of the ceremony, please stay seated until the graduates have fully exited, and then our front rows will exit, and then finally, yourselves at the back of the room will exit. This, again, is not only for proper decorum, but also for keeping with our guidelines for distancing. So, that is enough of the chastising part, of the telling you the rules. Now let's have some fun and let's celebrate some great moments with our students. Ladies and gentlemen, the Director of Academics and the graduands. So now that our audience is complete, it's my honor to welcome our guests of honor, including our keynote speaker, Mr. Lodewijk van der Borg, the Supervisory Board, the management, faculty, and staff of MSM, leaders and graduates from our global education partners who might join us via our live web stream, and the family and friends of our students, both here in person and on the live web stream. It is really an honor to see all of you, and I think many of you are also happy to see each other again face to face. And so welcome to today's ceremony. To start the ceremony, I will be inviting Mr. Meinhard Ganz. Mr. Ganz is a longtime member of the Management Board of MSM, initially in capacity of Director of International Project Operations and Consultancies, currently in the capacity of Chief Executive of MSM. Mr. Ganz is an economist and chartered accountant by background. However, he has mainly been involved in MSM's various project operations. He has a track record of project work in around 50 countries, in numerous assignments working for the higher education sector, government, and the business community. Throughout his long tenure at MSM, he's been involved in the development and setup of many of MSM's landmark programs, including the MBA, the Global MBA series, of which many students will be joining via live stream today, the executive education programs, and MSM's international project operations. As of mid-2019, Mr. Ganz is on interim basis working in capacity of Dean. Mr. Ganz, please come to the stage.
Thank you, Oliver. All right, respected guests, guest speaker, Mr. van der Borg, members of the Supervisory Board, colleagues from our International Partnership Network who is participating online, colleagues from MSM, and above all, most important, of course, dear participants from the various programs in Maastricht, from the outreach programs, family and friends. On behalf of the Board of Directors, the management team of MSM, it's my privilege to welcome you to this very special graduation ceremony, to share this special moment with you. It's a bit of an issue how to start this. Normally, previous years I was starting it like, it's good you're here. I'm addressing this meeting now saying it's the closing of the master program. It's a special moment in your study phase at MSM, the milestone that you have achieved with a lot of perseverance and a lot of hardship. But this is a different moment. It's all true, of course, about the perseverance and the hardship, but this is not a normal year, not by any recognizable standard. So what it is at this moment in time, it's a special, special moment. Special because you graduated for a start, you did everything that was needed to achieve that, to realize that. But there's also the rare opportunity that we have this special moment together, COVID-proof, it seems, with some restrictions in place, of course. And I'm speaking for myself, but I think speaking for most of you, this is probably one of the first or one of the few times in 6 months' time now that we're together, you as students, with your fellow students, with your friends, together with your staff mates from MSM, being in a meeting with more than 20 people. It's a special moment as such. This is intake 36 of the MBA program. As Oliver also mentioned, I'm one of the veterans of MSM. And I must admit I was involved in the startup of the first MBA 36 years ago, involved in the design and involved in the teaching, so I have some track record there. Of course, the Master of Management program and the online MBA program have some less traction, but one of the issues is that over the past 36 years, the general principle is that for all of the programs, students participating in it, it's a struggle, it's a heavy process, it's a survival issue that you face as a student, and the students eventually make it, but always there are the complaints, there are the groans. This year, by any standard, compared to any previous program in the 35 years before, this group has gone through the most challenging process in terms of program implementation. Midterm in the program, overnight, the weekend of, as we call it, the weekend of Friday, March 13, we shifted from a regular delivery, which was intensive enough, which was heavy enough for you, shifting overnight to a Zoom-based program mode, and you've been able to carry it through to the process and to realize this stage now for the graduation. Let me, for the record, express on behalf of the whole of Team MSM our deep respect to you as students for this extraordinary achievement under the very difficult conditions. We realize the implications of the COVID situation, not only complicating your participation in the program itself, in particular in terms of personal circumstances, being forced in a lockdown in Maastricht with uncertainty about many aspects of your personal life, here and your family's life at home. It must have been very challenging circumstances. One conclusion at this moment is, and I think we all agree on that, is the world is not the same anymore as it used to be 6 months ago, since the start of the global pandemic. The world that you will be returning to after your study is fundamentally different from where you left it 1 year ago or whatever time you started with the study. It will be providing many new challenges, but at the same time also creating opportunities. I think there are a few takeaways in this respect. One is the need for good leadership. It's obvious, it has been obvious over the past decades, of course, but it's more so in the current situation. And one issue there is the leadership requirements are changing. It's not a matter of being the same leader as you were 1 year ago. The situation we're in is completely new. It was not anticipated as such. There's not a textbook that is teaching us how to deal with a pandemic like this, and there's not even a case study. I think one of the issues for Team MsM now, for the faculty, will be to start working on this. The changes in February and March 2020, at the start of the global pandemic, really triggered some very fundamental changes. Leaders operating in all kinds of settings, government, public sector, and the business community, responding to the pandemic in many different ways, driven by various sets of values. They are de facto leading by example. There's no escape being in a boardroom position that shields you from COVID. So in that respect, you're really part of it. Leaders are often framing their successes, creating perceptions of effective leadership. Still, when you look at the real impact, the hard data, they really show what's going on, the immediate rate of success or the immediate rate of failure. What is increasingly evident is that the world needs true leadership, in particular value-driven, based on principles of human values and greater societal goods, not strictly based on profit and cash flow alone. And this is one message I think that we all have to take home. As a matter of fact, there's one political leader recently that framed his position as being a cheerleader, or I think a cheerleader in chief. I didn't see that coming as part of one of the essentials as leadership qualifications, but it's something I think to take at heart and to think about. We trust that you will take the leadership skills and the leadership values with you when you go back into your work setting. This closing event marks for you as a student the end of your special learning journey. It's basically a matter of getting your life back. For Team MsM, it marks the end of an intensive relation that we had with you. MsM has been your partner in the educational process, at the same time trying to be a family member for you, probably more realistically a surrogate family member over the past year, and I think in particular over the past 6 months. It has been an extraordinary process also for Team MsM, various hurdles in it, and participating with you in your learning journey. We assume that we have provided you with an adequate set of leadership skills, tool sets, and values, either for business or for government. And we also hope that we sufficiently ingrained some other aspects in the learning process, developing an entrepreneurial mindset, focus on innovation, and an understanding of the sustainable development challenges. We are confident that you will close off this period with a broad set of competencies and skills, hopefully also with a different mindset, different ambitions in life, and basically a reinvented 2.0 version of the person who started this learning process at MsM. I hope that MsM has been able to unlock this leadership potential in you and has contributed to the grooming of this particular talent. We trust that MsM once more, under very special conditions this year, graduates a cohort of students that will become part of the new generation of leaders, able to face new sets of challenges and, unfortunately, maybe also partly uncharted leadership challenges. MsM is proud of you. Speaking on behalf of the whole organization, whole Team MsM, I express the hope that we will remain a partner in your future, your further career, and your future learning journey. At this moment, you'll become alumni of MsM after the graduation is over, hopefully also the true ambassadors in the years to come. We value to stay in touch with you. Finally, I've been referring to the challenges that you faced as a student, and you'll hear that probably throughout the ceremony now at a number of occasions. You have been facing many challenges. At the same time, MsM organization has faced a number of challenges as well. I want to pay tribute to the amazing achievement of Team MsM from mid-March onwards, converting our complete educational program operations as well as the capacity development, our consulting operations, changing that overnight in a COVID-proof operation. It's been a surprising exercise and I think a true spirit of Team MsM. From my side, on a personal basis, but I think I'm also speaking on behalf of my colleague in the board, Chantal Maris, it felt at times like being in a kind of cheerleader position, seeing things rolling out in front of your eyes, but being on a distance, being at the sideline. I really want to thank all my colleagues for this outstanding performance over this period. For you, the students, wish you every success in life, personal, family life, career-wise, of course, and in particular, wish you strength picking up your life again where you left it before you started your learning journey here. Enjoy the special moment today. Collectively, we're here, out of the lockdown for the time being. Celebrate this event with you, your friends, with your family. Celebrate it with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meinhard. For many of us, depending on what country you're from, bread is one of life's necessities, especially here in the Netherlands. It has been for centuries, and it's continued to grow all over the world. Industrial bread production has developed considerably throughout the years. The Koch Group connects the traditional bread baking craft with state-of-the-art industrial baking technology. With a full range of products and services and a unique total service concept, the Koch Group supports their clients and enables them to guarantee the delivery of top quality to their customers, providing them with the tools to stay ahead in a competitive environment. Koch is a marketing leader with an annual turnover of $200 million US. One of the Koch Group businesses is K3D, which is the leading additive manufacturing company in the Netherlands. So you can see this group is very significant, especially in the bread industry. Now, Lodewijk van der Borg, CEO of the Koch Group, studied mechanical engineering at the Technical University in Eindhoven. And during his career, he worked amongst others at the roller coaster company, Vekoma. You know, we have a roller coaster company here in Limburg. And the bus construction company, Den Oudstein. Mr. van der Borg is the author of several books, including the crime novel, The Icer Killing. I hope I pronounced that correctly, Mr. van der Borg. An innovative management book in which the principles of QRM are raised and clarified. In his keynote speech today, Mr. van der Borg will elaborate on the need for different business approach in order to cope with the environmental issues as well as the new issue of the COVID pandemic. Both of these issues will lead to a new business approach in which companies have to make choices for their directions that they will take in the near future. Many of them are already making those choices now, some of them making good choices, many of them making poor choices. He expects this to have a substantial influence also on emerging markets and their chances within the economic playing field in the world, which makes his talk today especially interesting for MsM graduates, alumni, faculty, and staff who are joining us here today. So I'd like to invite Mr. van der Borg to the stage.
Yeah, you will start. Of course, I can talk about Koch and talk about everything in the world, but the most important today are you. And as I said here, the future of you will start now, but will never end. And of course, if things run a little bit poorly and you hug each other, we always can say that it was a wedding, because that's the way we solve things here in the Netherlands. But you have to be cheerful on the things you made and the things you are going to do. And the nice thing is, the world is changing. And with the changing world, new people can pop in. And that's very interesting. And I'm a bit jealous on you. I think somewhere in the 1950s, my generation invented a razor blade which you can throw away. That was the beginning, maybe of the end, and especially of the things and the environmental issues we made ourselves. And sadly, it is partly up to you to correct that. So sorry for that, but I will try to help you to find loops and inventive ideas to correct this. As said, we are an international company. And these are not all the countries where we deliver our machines, but these are the countries where you live in, and we deliver the bread machines. So maybe you recognize some brands, but actually all over the world, where you go to a supermarket and you buy a pizza or a loaf of bread, the chance that it is made on one of our lines is at least 50%. And these are the lines we produce. Just to give the impression, it's roughly 100 meters long. And on this line we produce 10,000 loaves per hour. That's almost as printing money. Every country needs bread. If you really want to make money in your country, think about bread. It's still growing and still needed. And of course, pizzas. But okay, we are not here for that. And I was very proud on this picture until I entered the building of you and saw almost every corner the same picture. But this, in business-wise, it's not normal. There are not a lot of businesses, they say, the guidings of what we do are the SDGs. And we made it simple for our people internally. And we said, capacity-wise, how are we things doing? How can we elaborate this with our employees? It's not for us to make me filthy rich or the owners of the company filthy rich. At the end of the day, we would like to do something sustainable and be happy. Because that's the most important thing when we are here, being happy together. So yes, zero hunger, number 2 on this list. Yeah, fine, we make bread and we can help there. For changing, affordable clean energy. If you come over to all our factories, we have 5, they're all stacked with solar energy. We try to be as CO2 neutral as possible. The problem is that if you proof bread, those nice holes are produced by CO2. Yes, sorry. But we don't tell anyone because otherwise it's not good. And cultural. Good health of our employees, absolutely very important. Happy persons, happy employees, happy colleagues are the most important thing you would like to see. And how are we doing that? Well, in the introduction it was said that we use QRM, Quick Response Manufacturing. And I think all the graduates know exactly what it is, because that's what you study, I think, business. But QRM, for the ones who don't know, is actually a very simple concept. The concept is that you make something together. And you would say, that's the concept of all business. Yes, but in all business, if we grow, we start to do different things. In a moment, we will get here 4 people who make music. The moment this 4th group will grow and become a great ensemble, they still are together. They still make the same music. When you come into a business and you start with a small group, then you are together and you make the same business. But when you grow, we put the drummers in one room and the guys of the violin in one room, and the singers in one room. And we call it engineering, purchasing, sales, and that doesn't work. And to solve that issue, we invented managers that are directors of the music, running around the building and try to make a nice point of music. So what is QRM doing? If you grow, grow by sell. And that's what we're doing within the car group. But you have to be very careful that people stay happy. Because if you are studying and you are having a topic what you really like, you can come into a flow, and before you know, you run into a burnout. And that's something you don't want to have. So to check if everyone is still happy, we measure it. We measure it with an app. All our employees fill out this app on the telephone every month, and we can see differences. And we can correct it, and we can keep them happy. And at the end of the day, that is true sustainability. At the end of the day, our company is our people, our colleagues, and not the machines, and not other items. Yeah, and then we are not alone in this world. I just go through quickly, but please, after you are graduated, keep on thinking. So don't stop with thinking or studying, but look around what's happening in the world. Especially when you are in an international business, everything can hit your business, being international. And I listed here a few. COVID, of course, is an important one. Trump's politics. I don't know if there are people in favor of Trump. Maybe they can have a beer now and then they come back afterwards. But I think there are some small criticism I have on what's happening over there. Brexit, N2 and CO2 restriction, trade war, and action radius and global warming. COVID. COVID is, I think, maybe sent to us by God. I don't know, but maybe. Because everything we shouldn't do to make this world livable and make more sustainable, we tried to do that in 20 years with all kinds of discussions. COVID managed it to get things done within 1.5 hours, 2, I don't know. Very quickly, there are no planes, no traveling around, everything has to be local done. So we have to learn from it. A lot of things are now changing. And behavior experts telling me that if you do something 6 weeks, your behavior has changed. We're doing this already 6 months, even longer, and behavior has been changed. We are able to make a contract of $40 million by Zoom. And we never ever thought that would be possible. And you can understand what that is doing with our environmental. Then the political situation in the US. If you import or export it to the US, that's a quite big thing. I think there are 2 topics, the rest are very personal, I guess, but 2 topics which are very interesting. What we see is that since the Second World War up till 1991, the falling of the wall, the world was transatlantic. Everything was around the Atlantic Ocean. And you see now that this is shifting to the Pacific. And we are not part of the Pacific. And you see that, for example, the military of the United States are pulled back out of Europe. So there are a lot of things taking place here in Europe where we may be not aware of. And that's an important one. The real decisions seems to be more and more taking place in a pan-Pacific world than an Atlantic world. And we should do things about that as Europe. And then the sanctions. We do have a beautiful customer in Iran, Namnik Nahat, one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been. But we are not able to do business anymore because the Americans are saying that to us. And we don't have a choice of our own as Europe. We are still part of the decisions made in America. And I think it should be wise to make a stronger Europe and a stronger Africa between China and America. Yeah, then Brexit. We forgot that one, I guess, or not? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that will be a hard Brexit. I'm still a hopeless romanticist, so I hope it will not take place and that somewhere along the line people get more intelligent, but that will do something for Europe because the balance will shift to Eastern Europe. And this balance shifting to Eastern Europe will also be more a right-wing Europe, which is not good for migration, which is not good for a lot of things. And it will be more against Russia. And Russia is a big market for us. And we would like to be in Russia. So that's also for us an issue. The best is to be friends with everyone. You can do business and you can live happily after after. The emissions. The trick of emissions is to tax it. If you tax it, it's no use to make machines here and you make machines local. It's a goal for 20 years to get this achieved, but due to COVID, it's getting quicker, I guess, and that's a very good opportunity for everyone who is in the receiving countries, if you may say so. Yeah, trade war of US. I don't know which way it will go, but for us it's a poor thing in China, and it is also a poor thing in US. So you see that our main markets are now Africa, South America, and Europe, and that all given all the politics in state. Yeah, what are then the possibilities of countries where you come from? And I try to explain that with action radius. If you invent TikTok, for example, and you don't piss off an American president, you can get everyone in the world using your product. So the action radius is the whole world. Your competition is also the whole world. So the moment you have a beautiful, interesting idea, you can get a very good business opportunity, but you're not alone. You have roughly 5 billion people who are thinking the same. If you go to food and to machining products, that will get more local and local. Driven from COVID, driven from sustainability, driven also on other perspectives. So that are the places where you can invest and where you can build up new businesses. We try close by our customers to put up friendly businesses, not of our own, who can produce our machines. Because if taxes kick in, it's not payable anymore. So you have to be local. And that's a very nice opportunity. I think 100 years ago, here in the Netherlands, you had a blacksmith, and everything what was from iron was made by this blacksmith. He didn't have a product market, he had only customers. And then we shifted, and all companies wanted to have a product market. And I think we will tend to this old feature that you have a blacksmith 2.0, 3D printing or whatever, and you just shift your demand to this blacksmith, and you try to sell all over the world. Yeah, how should the European Commission react if you look from it from a business perspective? Yeah, I think the most important thing is act as one. We are not acting as one. So that is for business the most important thing, that we know that everywhere it is the same. COVID is a nice example. If you go, I think, 15 kilometers that way to Germany, there are other legislations on COVID, what to do, than here. Also, what to do and what not to do is completely different in the whole of Europe, which is not easy to cope with and is not easy to follow as a business. So act as one, very important. The second one, try to be part of this pan-Pacific new world order. So maybe we have to invite New Zealand, Canada, Australia as a member of the EU. They already sing along with the Eurovision Song Contest. So I think next step is very small. So we can easily ask them to do. An alliance with Africa. I think the problems Africa have and the problems Europe have are very much the same. If you see the amount of investments done from China in Africa and done from America in Africa are huge. So how many countries are still boss in their own country? I think neither in Europe or in Africa it's completely the same and the same case. And if we join together, I think we can make this place much more beautiful. And one of these items is, of course, own data. We don't have own data. The discussion about TikTok is the discussion about not having the data in the American side. It's Chinese. But there's no European data. Our data centers are owned by Amazon, being American. The discussion on 5G was a discussion with China. And we are not controlling, in that perspective, our own data. And that will be very important in the future. Data is the new gold. We know all that. And the other one, the last one, is that I think that we as businesses should put SDGs as our guidance. If we do so, we have all the same direction, and I think that it might be helpful for everyone. Yeah, what is the consequences then for our business? Now, the consequences, as said, is that we started to make 3D printing. And everyone knows 3D printing, and everyone thinks in this room that this will be the future, or not. Wrong, it is not the future, it's now. The rockets of SpaceX, most of the componentry are printed. And different from NASA, they reuse these rocket engines. And I'm a little bit proud that I say that sometimes we print a rocket motor as well, but I'm not allowed to say that. So, but even fashion, on the London Fashion Week, 3D printed shoes coming from us were showed as well. So 3D printing is one of the major production possibilities and will always be done locally. So it's a huge opportunity in the rest of the world to start these kinds of businesses. And the nice thing is, the nice thing is, and the picture is coming later, that the intellectual property is not the design itself, but the material. So the moment you make it cradle to cradle, the moment you invite your own material, you're completely in control in your own country, keeping the business local and make life much happier and easier. Yeah, local servitization. I think you have had a pile of school books in the last few years which said to you that that's the new business, and that's true. And you try to predict what kind of new things your customer would like to be. Absolutely the thing you know, because if you are on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, you always see the same things you like, which is a disadvantage because you never learn something new, but the advantage for the seller that you get propositions you want to buy. Smart industry is kicking in now tremendously. All our installations all over the world, as we speak, in Canada, America, Kenya and Brazil, are installed in such a way. We have our own cockpit. Local people are there with headsets and videos, and we try to get these multi-million projects up and running, and it works. And that's also a huge opportunity for the local markets. So you have to be everywhere. You can't be working at one place anymore. And of course, being the Amazon, you thought of that yourself already. But if you are your own Amazon in your own country, we call it here bol.com, you can make a nice living out of it as well. Make your own products and put it on Amazon. Yeah, and here it is the closing the circle, the circularity. If you look to the footprint on CO2 here, it's 90% less than a normal production of material. And you can make cars with it or other items. Yeah, and then at the end, how sustainable is our money? Because I think one of the main reasons you choose this MBA is that you hope to make money. And the problem is, if we look around us, that the people who are making money by the tons are normally not the people we would give our wallet to, or maybe ask to guard our children, or things like that. So maybe we have a wrong system there. And maybe we should think on how can we get morality in our currency. If the only way to get filthy rich is to get filthy rich to do the good things for people and planet, then all would try to do so. And at this moment, in our monetary system, there's no morality. And with the new concepts, it's possible. This book gives a hint to it. It is in Dutch, but not yet in English, in a few weeks. So if you like, you can download it and read it. So what, at the end, what is the possibility for you after this graduation and in your new life? One of the most important things everyone says to me who has done education like yours is that they say the way of thinking they learned me in my education, during my education, was the most important thing what helped me in the rest of my life. And this way of thinking you should treasure and you should keep it. And that's very important. And again, there's a huge task for you all to try to get rid of the rubbish we create. But I think it's possible with the new technical issues. So that's for me the only thing. Very, very, very congratulated with your achievement. And I will give the word back to the main speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. van der Borg. Our graduates here will especially appreciate the real-life pestle analysis that you just saw and how it can be applied. And by the way, while you were speaking, President Trump just announced that TikTok will be banned starting Sunday in the USA. We would now like to welcome to the stage, for the third year in a row, the appropriately named MsM Quartet. Now, I guarantee you, still after 3 years, they tell me that's purely a coincidence. The MsM stands for the Maastricht Society of Music, but we still feel a special connection with their excellent name. The MsM Quartet consists of the following musicians, and again, like MSM, is very international. First, the leader is Andrei Rosic from Austria on the violin. Then we have Ariel Sanchez from Brazil on the second violin. We have Ekaterina Degterieva from Russia on the viola. And finally, Ariadne Chmelik-Luis from Catalonia and Switzerland on the cello. They will be playing for us twice. During the first musical intermezzo now, they will be playing Brahms' Hungarian Dance, as well as a more modern tune, Coldplay, some Yellow. And during their second musical intermezzo, they will play Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Swans and another modern tune that I will let you experience for yourself. I won't spoil the surprise. So please welcome to the stage the MsM Quartet. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you back a little bit later in today's ceremony. Most of you have had a chance to work with in some way or another this year Dave Cass, who is our Director of Education and Executive Development at Maastricht School of Management. Dave brings expertise in operations, strategy development, and change management from work experience in the fields of public policy, aerospace, and logistics. He's worked worldwide, focusing on creating and improving performance, capacity development, and executive mentoring. And for those that have not had the pleasure, it's a bit scary how naturally it comes to him when he's the evil genius in the Lego 4 Scrum simulation that we use in our Agile Fundamentals course. Dave, please come to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations from graduating from Zoom University. I'll bet it felt like that for some of you halfway through this year. And you all look fantastic in your robes. It's like a catwalk in Milan looking across you all now. I'm not so sure about my outfit, though. I think it's the hat. I look like some member of the medieval X-Men. Move over, Wolverine, here comes MsM Man. And of course, I wouldn't have anything useful like claws coming out of my fists, but I can reference faster than a speeding bullet. And you've all passed your thesis, so you all know that correct APA referencing is a superhero skill. Actually, I do have a confession that after all this time online, much like you over the past 6 months, the reason I'm wearing these robes, from the waist down, still in pajamas. Now, what a fantastic day it is to see you all and see your smiling faces. But none of you got here on your own. And from a very humble Director of Education, I'd like to say to all those people who have supported our graduates here and also worldwide this year, the mums, the dads, husbands, wives, partners, family pet, whatever, whoever, and wherever you are, good job. Well done. The wonderful thing about MSM, and the reason why we have elected to work here and not somewhere else, is because from the cleaners to the dean, none of us get out of bed in the morning to do higher education. For nearly 70 years, MSM has been about global outreach, lending that hand of support, engaging and empowering from individuals, institutions, and yes, even nation building. We were doing globalization before it became a marketing buzzword. We're experts in it, and I hope we will continue to lead it for another 70 years. We go where others don't. We assist the developing, become the developed, and we form a bridge between the advanced and the advancing to make this world a better place. And that's why we get out of bed in the mornings. You have had a significant part to play in that as well. As students, the way you've engaged across the student body and being ambassadors from wherever you've come from. You're also now alumni, and I really hope you're going to be active members of our vibrant alumni program. And of course, we circulate the fees that you've given us for your course back into scholarships and allow others to follow you. So thank you for taking part in that. The irony is, if you were McKinsey coming to look at Maastricht School of Management, you'd have to conclude that we're a business school that doesn't do business. And we're a management school that has no interest in producing managers. This world of ours needs leaders, and that's been the absolute focus on everything that we've been doing to develop you. Now, some of you may have had occasion to say that one or two of our professors have used old case studies during your course. I'm going to beat that today. I'm going back to 330 BC. And Alexander the Great said that he'd rather face an army of lions led by a sheep than an army of sheep led by a lion. Individuals can and do matter. Look at Gandhi. Think of the American Civil Rights Movement and Rosa Parks refusing to get off that bus. Only last week, I saw a young man on Instagram in Calcutta. Apparently there they have many water pipes constantly flowing with drinking water in the street for people to top up on. He said, no, I don't want that. I'll do it for free. I did 4 yesterday. Tell me where they are, and I'll fit taps on them. Because fresh water is an important resource and providing value to my community and to the world. Now, you may say to yourself, yeah, putting a tap on a pipe, anyone could have done that. The point is, anybody didn't. Ambition without implementation is just a ridiculous illusion. Be somebody that does, not somebody that could have done. Today, you will receive your diplomas, and it truly is a wonderful day. But for us at MSM, this is not our end goal. This is merely the end of phase 1. When you shortly get your master's degrees, they will open doors for you. But we will gauge our success with you on what you do when you step through them. Now, as a child, your instinct showed you to spot the miraculousness of a snowflake, to find treasure in a spider's web, and to delight in falling leaves in the color of an autumn morning. The pursuit wasn't about acquiring things. It was about exploring life. Help change the world for the better. Hold out a hand of friendship. Laugh lots and marvel at the things around you. Be generous to others and above all, lead. We know you're going to do marvelous things. We don't care if you're going to be the CEO of a large multinational or the janitor. Just be exceptional at whatever you do. Add value and make it your aim every day to do something positive and make a difference for somebody else in the quality and honesty of your work. Do all that and you will achieve way beyond all our dreams at MSM. Now shortly, you're about to get your diplomas. Take every moment in today's ceremony and luxuriated it. You deserved it. We're celebrating your success. Live for today, and tomorrow, the world's your oyster. So good luck, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, David. Now we'd like to welcome on stage with me to help with the awarding of degrees, the education officers, Ms. Karen Trump, Ms. Maud Joykins to the stage. So we have come to, as my script says, the highlight of the afternoon. Well, that's doing a disservice to the great speakers we've had so far. But we are coming to the part of the afternoon that most of you came for and have been expecting for even more than a year, the handing over of the degrees to our students. We're going to start today with our master's degrees, the Master of Arts and Management students and the students from our full-time, executive, and online Master of Business Administration programs. Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Management and Master of Business Administration, please rise. You can stand up. This is part of a special ages-old ceremony, and this is part one. Having completed the studies and satisfied the requirements specified by the Management Board of the Maastricht School of Management, each of you is now admitted to the degree Master, conferring upon you all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. You can now move the tassel to the other side of your cap, which is the right side of your cap. Congratulations on making it through one more step of this procedure. You may now be seated. Ms. Joikens, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Oliver. So today is the day that marks the end of your master's studies. It started off as a new and exciting adventure in October 2019 with fun activities in the introduction weeks. And after that, your classes began. Your workload started to increase because of the group company projects, a 10-page proposal, even more classes, but you also had time for social activities. And then suddenly in March, the COVID crisis hit the world. And suddenly you had to stay home. You had to take your classes through Zoom. Events were cancelled, and you had to video call your friends instead of meeting them in the city center of Maastricht. But all of you took on this big challenge and adapted to this new situation in the best way possible. You needed more self-discipline and motivation than ever before, but you made it through these tough months, and you should be very, very proud of this. So today is the day that you will receive your diploma after this year of hard work, uncertainty, but also success. I would like to start with the awarding of the Master of Arts in Management degrees, and therefore I would like to invite Dr. Aad van Maurek, the academic coordinator of the MM programs, onto the stage. First, I would like to mention the students from MM6, who also graduated this year, but unfortunately they cannot be present today. Joseph Michael from India, Rabi Sahu from India, Sharif Kayum Swipe from Indonesia, Tiffany Audrey Silanu from Indonesia, Tochukwu Ugomo from Nigeria. So now let's move on to the graduates of MM7. We'll start with Marie-Laure van den Berg from Belgium, and she graduated with distinction. Humphrey Jesse Binna from Ghana. Aditya Vangala from India. Ambika Kodavalam from India. Dhruv Gala from India. Iswarya Ramalingan from India. Jash Savla from India. Jay Sanghi from India. Manaswini Yangit from India. Subhashni Subramaniam Somasundaram from India. Triambak Atreya from India. Fadila Amin Fatoni from Indonesia. Sarah Hedayati from Iran. Unfortunately, in absentia, Sohaib Taher Haji Mustafa from Iraq. Elizabeth Mejia Velasquez from Mexico. Guillermo Torres Morales from Mexico. This year's MM class representative, Sofia Neria Gonzalez from Mexico. From Nigeria, Benjamin Ayolowo. Elaine Lois Guevara from the Philippines, and Elaine graduated with distinction. Anastasia Molchanova from Russia. From Germany, Antonia Vulkers. As a conclusion of the awarding of the MM degrees, we also have 4 graduates of our partnership with Nichols College in the United States, but unfortunately these students could not be present, but I will mention them today. Alexander Guest from the United States, Holly De Parasis from the United States, Kayla Merrigan from the United States, and Jared Richards from the United States. A very big congratulations to all MM students. I want to finish by saying that I really enjoyed working with all of you in the past year, and I wish you all the best in your future careers, as well as for your personal lives, and please don't forget to stay in touch. Thank you very much, Dr. Van Maurik. We will proceed with the Master of Business Administration degrees, so may I invite Dr. Stuart Dixon, Academic Coordinator of the MBA programs, onto the stage for the awarding of the MBA degrees. My colleague, Ms. Karen Tromp, will continue with the MBA graduates.
Thank you, Wout. Completing an MBA, whether that is the full-time program in 1 year or an executive or an online MBA program in 2 years, is a great achievement. But completing such an MBA program during the year 2020, in the year of the COVID crisis, is a victory. From one day to another, all our lives change, and for our students it meant often being locked away in often tiny rooms, staring at a computer screen. No more coffees across the road, no more lunches at the MsM cafeteria. Group assignments were done in virtual meeting rooms. Zoom was your new classroom, and online was a new keyword. Especially for the full-time MBA students being so far away from their homes and families, this has been an incredibly difficult period. And whether you're sitting here now in a gown, waiting for your degree, or whether you're attending as a guest because you just needed a little bit more time to complete this program, you can all be so proud of yourself. For sure I am. Dear full-time students, executive students, and online MBA students, I admire you for your perseverance and your resilience, for not giving up when things got tough. And remember, we don't grow when things are easy. We grow when we face challenges. So let's start awarding these well-deserved degrees. And by the way, you will hear me say in absentia a lot. Unfortunately, because of all the restrictions and the travel bans, some of our graduates were not able to join us today, but I'm sure that they will be watching us through the live stream and be virtually part of this event. We start with our students from previous intakes who graduated this year. From MBA 34, we have in absentia Ahadi Mohammedzadeh from Iran. And then from MBA 35, we have Ms. Ade Darum from Indonesia. In absentia, Indah Hafidias from Indonesia. And then her husband, Mr. Alpha Au from Senegal. In absentia, Wayne van Drunik from South Africa. And now we continue with MBA 36, students who started last year, in September, 1 year ago. Mr. Syed Mohammed Walid from Bangladesh. Mr. Julio Forster from Brazil. Alejandro Diaz from Guatemala. Yitin Maurya from India. Sunny Bhaskar from India. Venkateshwaran Rajagopal from India. is Dewi Sri Rejeki from Indonesia. In absentia is Elizabeth Maururi from Kenya. Claudia Veronica Huerta Hernandez from Mexico. Daniel Pariola from Nigeria. In absentia, with distinction, is Mr. Joseph Micheli from the United States of America. Ms. Van Tran from Vietnam. And last but not least, in absentia, Emmanuel Chileshe from Zambia. We now continue with the awarding of the degrees of the Executive MBA program, and I would like to thank Stuart and invite Academic Coordinator Executive MBA Programs Dr. Angelo Querelli and the graduates to come to the stage. We start with 2 students from intake 1, that is Nick Verjans from the Netherlands. Tomasz Torch from Poland. From intake 2 with distinction, Anne-Sophie Verijzen from Belgium. In absentia, Yasbindra Singh from India. With distinction, James Keogh from Ireland. Jennifer Trooster from the Netherlands. Salma Ben Amor from Tunisia. Beatrice Nasens from Belgium. This is intake 4, by the way. Beatriz Miron de Cano from El Salvador. Francisco Portilla Vasquez from Mexico. From intake 5, in absentia, Mohammed Kadrouche from Morocco. Ms. Sarah Tafteh from Iran. And Mr. Gaborkis from Hungary. We now continue with the awarding of the degrees of the online MBA program, and I would like to thank Angelo and invite Academic Coordinator Online MBA Programs Mariana Stanisic onto the stage. From our online MBA graduates, only one, but a very special one, was able to join us today, and that is our dear colleague Antonella Anastasi from Italy. The following graduates were not able to join us today, but hopefully will be following the live stream, and that is Sander van Knippenberg from the Netherlands, Evisa Gini from the Netherlands, Ferry Winter from the Netherlands, Sergei Denisov from Russia, Michael Moreira from South Africa, and Fina Kamanjire from Uganda. Congratulations to all of you here and to all of you who could not be here. And we now continue with the awarding of the degrees of the MPhil and DBA programs. And I would like to thank Mariana and invite Michaela Parillo, Officer Doctoral Studies, onto the stage. You're Italian, not Spanish, huh? Yeah.
Thank you, Karen. Unfortunately, nobody could come here today for the MPhil and DBA graduation, but I will read out their name in absentia. I will start with the Master of Philosophy, Shama Rabia from Kuwait. Marcus Kang from Republic of Korea. Sultan Saab from Saudi Arabia. Amira Saneidari from Iran. Alireza Salami from Iran. Tamer Malaka from Jordan. Mahmoud Shaker Ali from Egypt. Sheena Ray Thomas from India. Dylan Virenda Gonetileke from Sri Lanka. Jimenez Giraldo Juan Carlos from Colombia. Reyes Pais Jaime Andres from Colombia. Sanchez Paredes Alessandro Alberto from Peru. Campos Garcia Ángela Ximena from Colombia. Ehsan Fakkar from Iran. Sahel Anabi from Jordan. Majid Barami from Iran. Amina Imam from Nigeria. And Emad Kamel from Egypt. Congratulations. Now the doctoral graduates. First of all, Vascones Byron from Ecuador. Shahinaz Azazi from Egypt. Wael El Zanati from Egypt. William Kazungo from Tanzania. Muñoz Pena Fernando Andres from Colombia. Mohamed Khalif Fawad from Egypt. Janica Vanegas Felipe from Colombia. Ramirez Hernandez Luis Fernando from Colombia. Aldana Bernard Juan Carlos from Colombia. Betancourt Ramirez Jose Bernardo from Colombia. Juan Diego Alzate Gomez from Colombia. Martin Teenan from Ireland. And Savendra Ivankovic Nevenka from Peru. Congratulations to all of you. Oliver.
Thank you, Michaela. You may be Italian, but you did great with all those Spanish names. So, one of the negatives that COVID has done to us is change the nature of this graduation in a couple of ways. Not just the fact that so many were in absentia from our residential programs, but we're missing out on one of our favorite parts of the program. Because MSM has built its reputation over the last 20 years in being more than what we do here in the Netherlands, but through our outreach programs and our partners. We have partner programs in many countries throughout the world. All those names you've just heard, those were students that have traveled to Maastricht to study. But we also have partnerships with universities, long-standing partnerships in China and Kuwait and Egypt and Peru and Suriname and Vietnam and Kazakhstan and Romania and Hungary. And we always look forward to graduation when some of those graduates are able to come here to Maastricht to take part in graduation, to remind us that we're part of a global network, that we're much greater than just the sum of our parts, that we extend far beyond the borders of Maastricht and Limburg and the Netherlands. So all of those students that wanted to be here, due to different travel restrictions, were not able to be here. But we don't want to forget them. So we have created a video to represent and show and let you see the graduates of our various partner programs around the world. So now enjoy the video of our graduates from our partner programs. In the Caucasus, we have ADA University, MBA Intake 5. From Egypt, we have RITI, the Regional Information Technology Institute, their Executive MBA Intake 71. From Hungary, one of our newest partners, SEED, School for Executive Education and Development. This is the Executive MBA Intake 2. From Iran, Mahan Business School, their MBA program, Intake 1. From Kazakhstan, Almaty Management University, otherwise known as ALMA. This is the Executive MBA, and we have several intakes represented in this group. Kuwait. MsM Kuwait is the partner and the MBA program with intakes 2, 3, and 4. China. Nanjing University, one of the top universities in China. We have the International MBA with various intakes. One of our longest partners, Centrum Católica Graduate Business School in Lima. Their international MBA is represented by Intake 18. Romania, MsM Romania, for which I have a special affection, their Master in Management, their first intake, as well as various intakes for their Executive MBA. Suriname, FHR School of Management, the Executive MBA with intakes 11, 12, and 13 being represented. Yemen, Sana'a University Center of Business Administration, their Executive MBA, intake 7. Let's let our students and graduates from around the world hear us with a round of applause. And I hope most of you that were in that slideshow are watching us live today, and we want to still extend the invitation that as soon as you're able to travel, please join us. Come for graduation next year, and we'll make you feel a part of the family that you've become a part of. So Stuart, I'd like to welcome you back on stage, our Director of Education, for another exciting part of the evening as we move into the second half of the evening. No, I'm joking. We're closer than that to the end. This is where we award the best students. Now, all of you are winners, as we said before, but there are some that have really excelled, and we want to reward them as we do every year. So we have from both programs awardees, and we'll start with the best student in the Master of Management program. This year's Best Master in Management Student Award goes to a student who performed exceptionally well on the academic front of the Master in Management program, and I can vouch for that, having taught her in one of my classes, by scoring an average grade overall of an unheard of 8.9. The thesis that the student delivered about digital transformation and organizational performance was evaluated with, and again, an outstanding 9.0 grade, which is very rare. Not only did this student excel academically, but the student also actively participated in various non-academic activities, workshops, networking events, and was part of the team that represented MSM at the Dutch National University's Sustainable Development Goals Challenge. This student has also earned the respect of her classmates during the various group work by proving to be reliable, hardworking, and efficient. So please forgive me for not being able to say your name very well, but I'm going to do my best. Come to the stage, Miss Marilar van den Berg. Yeah, go ahead and open it so they can see. Yeah. Now on to our MBA Student of the Year, and this is amongst all our MBA programs. Every now and then, a student joins the MSM MBA and immediately stands out. Not because of one single thing, but because of their humility, team spirit, empathy for others, and professionalism. This student's positive spirit contributed greatly to the energy in the group. This year's MBA Student Award goes to a student who wrote an excellent business consultancy project for Siemens Mobility, for which he received a distinction grade. Throughout the year, he consistently did well academically. Additionally, he was also part of the winning team of the SDG competition, again, the Sustainable Development Goals competition, and was chosen as a part of the team that represented MSM at the Dutch National University Sustainable Development Goals Challenge. In addition to that, he was also part of the team that was selected for the finals of the Dutch National Internet of Things Challenge. He was present at many of our workshops, social activities, at least when we had social activities, and networking events. This student also excelled at time management, obviously, when we see all the things that he did during the last year, proactiveness, and thank God, stress management. Our winner in absentia is Mr. Joseph Joey Micheli. Now, Joey is not here with us, but in anticipation of possibly receiving this award, we pre-recorded a video from him. He did not know at the time he recorded this that he was going to get it.
It's an honor to receive this award. I'm grateful to have been able to study with such a great group, and I miss everybody dearly. I can't believe the time has finally come where we all are receiving our degrees. COVID made this year even more challenging, but that may have in fact made us all even more well-rounded, preparing us for the ever-changing business world. For that, I'm thankful, and I wish everybody all the best in your future endeavors.
And I would also like to point out that it's not just a nice certificate. Both of those students have received a cash award of 1,000 euros. So, Marie-Laure, drinks are on you. I would like to now welcome back the MsM Quartet for their final two arrangements. Thank you very much. So our graduates, what was the name of that last song? Despacito. Great. We look forward to seeing what you surprise us with next year, MsM Quartet. Now comes it's an evening full of highlights. The guest speaker is a highlight. Our graduates are a highlight. The awards are a highlight. But this is perhaps my favorite part of the ceremony, mostly because of the unpredictability. We have no idea what's going to come next because it's time for the students to come up and share their own experiences. So now for the valedictory speech from a representative of Master of Management, we have Sofia Neria Gonzalez. Please come to the stage. Sophia.
Thank you, Oliver, for that introduction. Thank you, MsM Quartet. That was truly festive, very adequate for today. Good afternoon to all of you, parents, families, professors, MsM staff, friends, and of course, MsM graduates. Morning, afternoon, and evening to all of those who are following our graduation on live stream. My name is Sofia Neria Gonzalez. I am Mexican. And I had the honor to be chosen as a class representative by the amazing class of MM7. I am so happy to be standing here today. For a very long time, it seemed like graduation was so far away. For another good deal of time, it seemed like it was not going to happen. And suddenly it's here. We are here. This event, in any other circumstance, represents a culmination of efforts of so many. And on top of that, this year we've had to face an unexpected series of challenges and uncertain times. I truly believe that we all deserve to be congratulated today. Our resilience deserves recognition. We are all stronger than what we were yesterday. Speaking of recognition, for me, to stand here means expressing gratitude to many others as well. Achievements do not happen overnight. They are a product of hard work, yes, but also a result of all of the people we meet along the way who believe in us, guide us, and support us. Hence, in the name of my class, I want to mention and acknowledge the following. Thank you in the first place to our families, to all of our parents and relatives all over the world, who with their love, invest their effort and give their support and advice to their sons and daughters to achieve their dreams. In behalf of my class, I want to also extend my gratitude to the Netherlands education system for believing in international education and opening their borders for international young talent. Thank you, MsM staff, for the support and guidance and the multiple activities organized through the year. And thank you, Maud, for being the backbone for our class this year, too. Thank you, MsM professors, for the lessons taught and for your guidance, especially to those of you who had to manage the hiccups of online classes through Zoom. It was also a challenge for us. And of course, thank you to my Masters in Management class for trusting me, to the 37 of you. It has been a year in which I have embraced every learning opportunity for conversations with each one of you, from your characters, your cultures, and your backgrounds. I am standing here today because of you, and hence, I have the following message. Dear MM7 class, it seems like it was yesterday when we arrived in Maastricht and met on those first days of school. Time flies, doesn't it? Little did we know all of what we had ahead. Memorable moments with plenty of challenges that we faced together. Today, this journey is coming to an end. Some are staying, others leaving. Some will go back home. Others already did. Some have already found a job. Some are still figuring it out. However, no matter where our next adventure takes us, I would like to encourage us all to take the Netherlands with us wherever we go. First, I would like us to all think in terms of the bicycle from now on. Life is going to permanently have its ups and downs. Let's embrace them all and learn to enjoy the journey. Every moment has a new lesson to teach us, and it's our choice to learn it or not. However, in the future when you feel like life is going downhill, please remember that we have the right to pull the brakes. Do not rush the downhill in the hope of making it end soon. It already has momentum. Instead, take control by making adequate pauses. Making stops during difficult times is mandatory to put things in perspective and make the right decisions. One thing this year has taught us is perspective. It's a valuable lesson holding on to. Then, when the time comes to build our dreams, and life challenges us with riding uphill to reach them, please remember that we have the right to set our bike in the lowest gear. Get rid of all of what puts weight on your shoulders and lighten our way. This will ensure that our pedals keep on spinning when the road gets steeper. There is no easy road to success, but we should not give up. Instead, we must build our character along the way, because when we get to the top, guess what? We will always find that there are more summits to reach. And when finally life gives us some flat, easy roads, let's embrace it. We all need a moment to take a deep breath, charge up again, and continue. However, we should not let it last too long. Just like muscles grow when we lift more weight, we only develop when we choose our next challenges. Staying too long in a comfortable gear will prevent us from really improving. And the longer we stay there, the harder it will be to get out. Do what you must do to keep growing. Change the paths or destinations if necessary. Learn something new, be prepared, and keep on improving your skills. And speaking of being prepared, wherever you go after today, my second piece of advice for all of us is to take the Dutch weather with us. Yes, I mean it. If there is something that the Netherlands has taught us very well, is that in that one same day we can have the 4 seasons, with rain, wind, snow, hail, sun, clouds, warmth, and cold, while we're out there. Those days are really difficult when we think of continuing moving forward in life. But just like we bring in the Netherlands in our bags, the raincoat, the sunglasses, and the scarf just in case, in the journey of life, be prepared too. Make sure you keep collecting tools for any situations and opportunities that life may bring. Keep on evolving and transforming. The world will keep on changing, and we should be able to adapt to it. By the way, on any given day when the weather seems extremely bad, also do not worry more than necessary. Remember also that those heavy storms in the Netherlands may only last 15 minutes. And if necessary, we know we're all capable of dancing under the rain. If in doubt, just remember those carnival nights in Maastricht, and you will see I am right. And dear classmates, my last piece of advice for all of us is to take care of ourselves. In this journey of life, our bodies and minds are our vehicle to reach our dreams. The longer our engine lasts, the more meaningful and fulfilling our lives will be. Use your body and mind wisely. Drop bad habits. Create new good ones. And prioritize your well-being over everything. I look forward to the day when our roads cross again, and we share all the great stuff we have created and experienced. By the way, this is not a goodbye, but an until we meet again. In the meantime, no matter where we go after today, you can always count on me. To finalize my speech, I would like to spread a message of hope for everyone regarding the pandemic. For months, we have been overwhelmed with uncertainty and restlessness, wondering whether we will ever go back to normality or if this is the new normal. And after months of reflection, I frankly think that neither one is the case. I believe that it is time to reinvent the way we have been living and to use this opportunity to adapt to the positive things we have experienced despite the pandemic. As a side effect of the pandemic, we have been pushed to redesign our lifestyles, question our habits, and transform them into collectively improved ones for humankind. The global carbon footprint has been reduced, and we have opened our eyes wider to truly important aspects of life like health, time, family, friends, and values like cooperation and empathy. These times have also taught us to be resilient and have made humanity humble. We were perhaps too used to our fast life, our fast food consumerism, while feeling powerful with life under control. But humankind has historically been able to overcome multiple adversities. As I previously mentioned, when life seems to go downhill, it is important to take a pause and be able to put things in perspective. There is a quote by John F. Kennedy that says, "The Chinese used 2 brush strokes to write the word crisis. One brush stroke stands for danger, the other for opportunity. In a crisis, be aware of the danger, but recognize the opportunity." Therefore, I believe that this pandemic is not about waiting to go back to normal, but it's an opportunity to slow down, observe, learn, and take from it so as to build up a future society that is better for everyone. It is not about the world suddenly demanding us to change. It is about us choosing to change to make the world a better place. To think of the most vulnerable and least privileged, question our decisions, our consumption, the usage of our scarce resources, and realizing that our vulnerability is in fact a blessing to remember to create a better life for those around us and consequently for ourselves. I think that when we truly understand this, we will redesign the way of living as to promote our collective well-being and ensure the life quality of all. Changes can be good, but we first need to find the balance during the transition that shakes the ground where we are standing, and then realize that there is an opportunity in every new challenge. And ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I wish us all success and a well-deserved festive evening. Thank you all. Gracias a todos. Bedankt iedereen.
Wow, thank you, Sophia. You've set the bar high for the other speakers. If you'll forgive me for taking that wonderful bicycle analogy one step further, all of you were great when you got here. You all knew how to ride bicycles. You were wonderful. But MSM hopefully turned it into an e-bike, so you could go a little bit further, a little bit faster, a little bit steeper hills, but you brought the skill of bike riding with you. So thank you for that great analogy, Sophia. Now, the class representative from MBA, and boy, you're going to make me say this name. I haven't had as much practice as Karen had, but here we go. Please welcome to the stage the representative of MBA, Venkateshwaran Rajagopal.
Thank you, Oliver, for trying your best to pronounce my name. So close. Okay, here's the thing. It might be a little weird to start off with a confession, but public speaking is really not my strong point. I would usually shy away from such opportunities, but today I decided to come out of my comfort zone anyway to inspire you to come out of yours. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to stand in front of you today on this memorable occasion. I want to take this as an opportunity to thank people on behalf of MBA students, to the MBA course coordinator, who has consistently tolerated with our deadline extension request. Thank you. To my dear professors, you have not only given us knowledge, but also shaped our ways of thinking in different dimensions. To my dearest non-teaching staff of MSM, you have supported us without us knowing it. Thank you. Also, a big thank you to all the MSM staff who made sure that we graduated on time despite the various challenges this year. Also, thanks to Team MSM for organizing this ceremony. In spite of the restrictions, it means a lot to us. Also, cheers to my fellow MSM students. to my old but immature colleagues from MBA, kids from MM, and other MSM students who I barely know, thank you for being part of this wonderful journey with me. You know, people have warned me that one-year MBA would be a roller coaster ride. It was, except that this year has been a roller coaster ride for the entire world. I wouldn't lie that studying abroad has been easy. We had to leave some things we like, some people we care about. We adapted to the new food, cultures, and more importantly, we adapted to the ever-changing Dutch weather, as Sophia mentioned. As if we weren't struggling enough, the pandemic took us out of the frying pan and put us into the fire. When we set our foot in MSM last September, little did we imagine that our lives would be tossed, turned, and molded in ways that makes us think in a whole new perspective. We realized that we took some things for granted. We never knew what we had until we lost it. In bleak moments like these, it can be difficult to find hope. Sometimes, it is okay not to feel okay. But remember, it's all part of the growth. I personally believe in this theory of growing pains, which states that if you experience pain, it means you're growing. And if you're growing, you have to go through some pain. And let me tell you this, last few months, you faced so many difficulties, but you overcame those challenges anyway. It affected your social life. You did not give up. It changed the way you study. It changed your daily routines significantly. You refused to give up. It reduced your opportunities. You did not give up. Last few months tried to bring you down in every way possible, yet you did not give up. You are some of the toughest people I've ever seen, and I want you to continue being the resilient person that you are today. Now is the time to cherish all the beautiful moments that we had in MSM. Honestly, all the moments in MSM were something to be cherished about, something beautiful. Well, except the 1 hour of thesis defense, everything else was beautiful. Yeah, let's put it that way. My fellow students, this marks the end of our student life. But please do remember that this does not mark the end of learning. As Aristotle says, you are what you repeatedly do. So please make learning a continuous habit rather than just a one-time act. So I want you to cherish every moment as if it was the last Oreo cookie, not to take anything for granted, never stop learning, and more importantly, be hopeful. I want to finish it off with a Tamil quote, Poruttar Bhumi Alvar, which translates to, the one with the patience rules the world. Be patient. Good things are on your way. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkateshwaran. Remember a year ago I said your names are important, and so we will get those right. And today, it is okay to be okay. Today's a day for being okay. Thank you for those wise words. Our next representative is from the Executive MBA, and it's been a long journey, but we're welcoming you to the end of this particular journey. I'd like to welcome to the stage Ms. Anne-Sophie Verrijssen.
Thank you, Oliver. Dear students, teachers, family, and friends, finally, our EMBA graduation. There were moments when this day seemed so far away, almost unreachable. But it's an honor for me to be standing here today because we did it. Despite our busy jobs and hectic family and social lives, despite some of us traveling a long way to come to the courses, we did it. Safe to say, it was not easy. Some of us raced through the program, while others had to postpone parts due to work or family commitments. For me, it was tough to admit that I would have to postpone the healthcare management module for 1 year because of my pregnancy. Turns out it was the right decision because I gave birth to my son during that module. He just turned 2 years old, and although I completed my thesis last year, it still feels great to be able to celebrate this milestone with you all. It was not easy, but it was definitely worth it. When I look at myself, medical doctor, I remember at the beginning of the program, I couldn't imagine that I had much to learn from my fellow students in the oil industry or in the ICT sector, but I was very wrong. Not only did we share knowledge and experience together, but we also shared great moments, even if it was just going for dinner or a beer together after class. The people you meet in these courses are, in my opinion, as important as the courses themselves. To our teachers and professors, thank you for instilling your knowledge and experience on this very diverse group. Thank you for all the effort you put into making sure we gained insight into business and leadership. These are things we will take with us and apply throughout the rest of our lives. To our friends and family, to my husband, thank you for supporting us throughout this journey. Thank you for accepting it when we had little time for anything else besides our jobs and this program. And last but not certainly not least, thank you, Dolores, for being the guiding light for every module, telling us where to be and making sure we were fed. Without you, we would be lost during this program. Thank you all.
Thank you, Anne-Sophie. It's a great reminder that the MBA is not just a journey for yourself as students, but it's a journey for your families and those that support you on this journey. And no more true than for the EMBA students that are both juggling family, career, and new babies. Congratulations to that introduction to our MBA class. Our final student representative will be from our online MBA program, and so I'd like to welcome to the stage Antonella Anastasi.
Thank you, Oliver. Graduation day is an exciting moment. It is about an ending, but also about a beginning. It is about warm memories and big dreams, and hopes for the future. 2 years have passed, and we are here today to celebrate this great accomplishment. Unfortunately, most of my fellow students could not be here today due to COVID-19 restrictions. We live in a very different world than when we started this journey 2 years ago. And even though I believe that none can say to be prepared for these unusual global circumstances, when I look back at these 2 years, I feel that this period has somehow shaped our mind, enhanced our strength, forged our armor. It has prepared us in many ways. These 2 years equipped us to face difficult times. They gave us the capabilities for dealing with new unexpected challenges, to organize our time effectively, to make every minute count, and above all, to enjoy fully the precious free moments we could share with our family and loved ones. It shaped the way we approach problems and find solutions. It definitely shaped our attitude towards the concept of busy time and free time. We have learned to face our weaknesses and to keep marching on. These years were for me full of sacrifices. I dedicated myself to study and knowledge for becoming a better professional. Sure, that was my first thought when embarking this journey. But through the path, I felt more and more that I was enhancing not only my skills and understandings, I was investing in my future. I was making the best investment, as, paraphrasing Benjamin Franklin, investing in knowledge produces the best interest. I was allowing myself to gain added value, applicable to all aspects of my life, and I was placing down a valuable, solid brick on which I could build, on which I could add more and more bricks. As you may have experienced, it's not easy for many people to understand what commitment and dedication to study means. This journey is not easy, and it requires understanding people next to you, to support you and encourage you along the way. especially if you have a busy life and a full-time job. Therefore, in occasion of this happy achievement, I feel the need to acknowledge who helped me to reach this target and express my utmost gratitude and appreciation. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to MSM for allowing me to be part of such an extraordinary cohort, for providing me an outstanding learning experience. I would like now to address my online MBA graduates, colleagues. I'm proud of what we accomplished, and I'm honored to be part of this first OMBA cohort. We have been through many hardships together, and we always helped and supported each other since the very first module. I feel very lucky and privileged that I've been sharing this experience with such generous and brilliant human beings. Despite being a very diverse group of people, and despite being so far away and all in contact online, I truly believe we have been a very synergized team. You all, my fellow OMBA graduates, are great colleagues. I learned so much from you, and I take this opportunity to thank you for being always so kind and respectful to each other. All in all, my OMBA experience has been characterized by many difficulties, yes, and marked certainly by many sleepless nights. But thinking back to the first module till the last, I've been so blessed. I've learned so much. Every sleepless night was definitely worth it. It was worth the remarkable suitcase I filled in with new valuable knowledge and skills. All the hardships suffered have been definitely softened and mitigated by amazing MSM colleagues. This supportive MSM family is full of wonderful people who I'm extremely grateful for. A big thank you needs to be devoted especially to the online MBA team for always being so very helpful, patient, and so kind through these 2 years. Thank you with all my heart. And, sorry. And for my many, no, I can't, I have a deadline, I want to thank all true friends who stuck around supporting me. I'm sorry. I want to take this chance to acknowledge and thank all our families who always stayed next to us and supported us during this path. I personally need to thank both my wonderful Italian and Dutch family for always encouraging me and for never letting me feel I was neglecting them. Even when on Christmas Day last year, I did have to neglect them for submitting an assignment in time. Today we don't forget every sacrifice and difficulty. Today we celebrate how they forged us, how they fortified our spines, how they changed our perception of the world. The graduates we are today are very different from the applicants we were 2 years ago, and we have to be very proud of ourselves. I'm sure that one of the most important lessons that we have learned is that at the end of the day, we are not defined by our grades, and we are all equipped to go out in the world and show our worth, leaving our unique special mark. And finally, I want to address all the people who are believing in me and encouraging me all along. I dedicate this achievement to you. As Eleanor Roosevelt once says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. I wish you all to realize your hopes and dreams and to go confident into the world and successfully fight your battles. Now, our next adventure awaits us out there, so let's keep on shining our bright lights into the world. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Antonella. And congratulations to the OMBA, or online MBA graduates, for being online before it was cool, being the trendsetters. Now, as we approach the end of today's ceremony, I do want to make a couple of housekeeping reminders before we have our closing statements from Dr. Dixon. So for all of you that have recently graduated, by the way, you're graduated now. Congratulations. You are now alumni, and you need to plug into that network. You have become part of a family of 30,000 plus alumni spanning almost 70 years. But that is only worthwhile if you take advantage of it. Log into msmnetworker.com. Be active. Don't wait for somebody else to be active for you. You be active. If you say, why don't they do this? You do it. Why don't they have a get-together in my country? organize a get-together in your country? Why don't they have a training event? Help organize a training event. We will be there to help you and support you, but you need to take the initiative as alumni. We have high expectations of you. I want to remind all of our guests that at the end of the ceremony immediately, first our students will leave, then the first 2 rows will leave, and then the rest of you. So please stay seated until the others have left at the appropriate time. And again, remember to adhere to the 1.5 meter distance. Look for the red stations everywhere to sanitize your hands. Use your face masks, except when you're drinking a beer, and then put them back on. So you are invited to join us at a reception, which will be going until 6 o'clock this evening, and I can already see the glasses of wine from here, in the MEC table and MEC Cafe next door. Again, keeping the 1.5 meter distance. You are allowed to get closer than that to your wine glass. Parking and exit tickets. Again, a reminder, if you have parked in the parking lot, if you have not received your white parking ticket yet, find an MSM staff member or a MEC staff member so you can get one so you can get out of here when this is done. So our final speaker today is Dr. Stuart Dixon, our Director of Education. He's Director of Academics and the Academic Coordinator for the MBA program at MSM. Stuart, although from the UK, completed his PhD at the European University Institute in Florence, Italy, and he specialized in the area of industrial economics. He's also the director of the Euro MBA program, which is a blended learning MBA program, again, online before online was cool, as well as being a senior lecturer at Maastricht University School of Business and Economics. Again, a bridge with the University of Maastricht for many years. Before working with MSM, he was the director of the bachelor's programs at Maastricht University School of Business and Economics, as well as being the academic coordinator of the Maastricht MBA program. He currently teaches courses in strategic management and industrial economics. His current interests are in the area of scenario planning and market dynamics. So Stuart, please come to the stage for the final words.
Many thanks, Oliver. Well, the final words. What an honor to have these final words here. And you know, out there is wine, fresh drinks, beer. So I know that with these closing words, they should be short. But I think these kinds of ceremonies are very important for us. You know, it really marks a kind of an end to the journey you had. All the speakers today had wonderful speeches about what they've learned, the hardships, the skills they developed. And this is a moment, in fact, when, although it's not the end of your journey, because we know there are going to be many other things that you're going to face in the future, it's a wonderful moment, I think, to think about that, to think about all the things you've done over the last year or 2 years, depending on the program that you're in. There have been some wonderful things. There have been some terrible things. Sophia mentioned that it's a bit like riding a bike with the ups and the downs. And, you know, when you get to a summit, you have all these wonderful things that you can see. I often think that the MBA itself actually is not so much a nice rolling hills, but one big mountain, and a very big one. And it's a challenge to get up it. When you arrive, you're not really sure how big that mountain is. But as soon as it kicks off and you have your first course in, let's say, economics for managers, then you realize, wow, this is quite something. Can I get through? Can I make it? And a lot of questions come to your minds, you know, about are you really good enough to take on this challenge? But we're there to help you. You have some guides that take you on the way and help you get to the different points on the mountain itself. And of course, there are other things that come along that were not expected. You know, we get the blizzards, such as the pandemic that we're all suffering at the moment. And we have to react to that. And I think this is also what kind of has created you as people. You know, JFK stated when they went to the moon in the 1960s, he said, it's not because it's easy, it's because it's hard. And in some sense, you know, the MBA is about creating something which is difficult. And I know you complain and you say, it's too much, we can't do this. But when you get to the top, when you get to the end of the MBA program, and you can see all those wonderful mountains around you, and as Sophia said, all those new challenges, that's a good feeling. And if it was easy, you would not have the same kind of feeling that you have now. So I think it's a wonderful moment. So please keep that in mind, because, you know, when you have future challenges coming up, don't always go for the easy ones. It's very easy to do that, but no, go for the challenges. Step outside your comfort zone. Look for the things that are more challenging and that will develop you also as individuals, because that's in fact what it's doing, isn't it? It's creating those new skills, it's pushing you to become a different person, and I think to become the person that you really want to be. So keep that in mind, and I would like to stop at this point because, you know, they're over there, the drinks are fresh and ready, but I would like the graduates, class of this year, to stand up. So if all the graduates, please stand now. Now you must remember, you're not allowed to throw your hats, okay? So I've been told you're allowed to wave them, but please do not let go of them. But you know what's going to come next. So everybody, grab your hat, be ready for it. Class of 2020, you are dismissed.
Okay, graduates, we'll all wait while you exit the same way you came in. Please maintain 1.5 meter distance as you exit, the same way you came in. So we'll wait for the graduates to exit. You can exit through the balloon arch, and then once they've exited, we'll wait for the front rows to exit. Maybe some music. Yes, go ahead. The front two rows can exit.